speaking and talking to many people involved in music since we've had the lockdown. My next guest is one of Ireland's most prolific and talented singer-songwriters and a fine musician to boot. And now he arranges and produces his own style of sort of easy-listening music, spanning a large spectrum of contemporary love songs and country ballads. I'm delighted to welcome and say a big hello to the one and only Shunie Crampsey. Shunie, how are you?
Sure, I'm good, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
A real pleasure. Shunie, you've been writing songs for a long time.
I have indeed. I've been writing, sometimes you wonder where do the years go, but I think it was about 1990 or 89. I sent a song into 2FM over here in Ireland, and RTE, and it was a search for a star thing then. It was like the X Factor, and I won it with a song called Mysterious Lady, and that sort of had been writing before that, but that was the sort of the first success that I had as a writer. And then the next thing, the great Mick Flavin recorded a song that I wrote called The Hard Times That Lovin' Can Bring, and I brought out, since that I brought out, I think it's 5 original albums, and but as well as that, quite a few people have recorded my songs. People have covered them, and I had the pleasure of. I didn't normally write for people, but recently I have had the pleasure of writing for some people, and that's a whole new area for me, and it's great. It's really great,
Indeed, I mean, it's an impressive list of people who've recorded your music. Louise Morrissey, Daniel O'Donnell, Logan McCool, and more recently you've written 2 songs which the late Big Tom recorded, which was The Pleasure Has My Mind, and also the other one which he recorded with Margot.
A love has lasted through the years, yeah. Now, I have to say that, of all the things, that was a very special time. Margot asked me would I write a duet for herself and Big Tom, and I wrote The Love Has Lasted Through the Years, and at the same time I had written and sent Big Tom a song called The Pleasure Has Been Mine, and I figured it was a fitting tribute to his life and music at the time. Little did I know that in a very short time, it would all become too real, and that Tom and Rose would have left us,
Indeed so.
I had the pleasure of we went down to Jonathan Owen's studio in Granard, and on the day of the recording, and I was in the studio with Tom and Jonathan and Margot, and Rose was there, and a friend of mine, Seamus, and we spent the day there, and Tom was in great form, and shortly after that, Rose passed away, and but last 10 or 12 weeks after Tom passed away, and the songs had just been released, and that was very special for me to be there. I mean, it's very special when anybody records your songs, and there's so many fabulous artists, like as you say, Daniel and Mike Denver, and different people have recorded songs, and Mick Flavin, and I think there's about 15 artists in Ireland have recorded songs. But that was way up there, that was very, very special to be part of Big Tom's last ever, and having written the last 2 songs he ever recorded and been part of the recording, being in the studio with him, was very, very special. I never forget that.
Indeed, I'd well believe it. I mean, The Pleasure Has My Mind, is a magnificently constructed and worded song. It sort of sums up, his life and what he did all over the years.
Yeah, it's funny, when he said to me, when he looked at me and he said, you know more about me than I know about myself. But the funny thing about it is, it was very easy for me to write that song, because I always, from a very early age, growing up here in Donegal, in the early years when it was Brian Call, Philomena and Margot and Big Tom, and Gene Stewart, and there was just a handful of people there in the country scene that we really looked up to, and I'd been a fan of Tom's and had all his albums from the early years, And so it was easy to write the song. It really was. I took a bit of a liberty, but he loved the song. He really did, And as unfortunately, and it's a real honour that it's a title track of his final album. Pleasure Has Been Mine. But unfortunately, he didn't get much time, as did his fans or any of us, to reap the benefits of it, or to. I was looking forward to going and seeing him singing it live on stage, but never was to be.
Yes. It's it really it's been both of those songs actually have been hugely popular with me and a huge success, and as you know, it's been absolutely huge right across Ireland as well. Shunie, one of your one huge song which many people have recorded is one which Morning Sun and Memories.
Yes. And, I said, well, Mike Denver does a fabulous version of it at the moment, I just saw him on the TV the other night doing it, and John Hogan did it, and Logan McCool did it, and Louise did it, and quite a few other people. But, the special thing about that song is that I had there was a young girl beside me that said it was her favourite song, and she used to say to me, "You sing it at my funeral." Now, she was only half my age, and I used to laugh at her, but I didn't realise she was ill, But unfortunately, she had a young family and she passed away. And I did sing it at her funeral, and I happened to go into the graveyard a few months later, and there on the bottom of her gravestone is Morning Sun and Memories written. And as well as that, I had another very, very special friend, the guy that I wrote Blooming about, and I went to see his grave, and he's got Morning Sun and Memories written on his grave as well. So that's very special,
Indeed.
It doesn't happen every day. It really doesn't,
Indeed not. I mean, it shows actually how, what the song means, and the powerful message that is in the song of Morning Sun and Memories. Before you created it, it was totally unknown.
Well, the funny thing about it is, and I say this, I suppose, on behalf of all songwriters, is that when you write a song, you don't always realise how it's going to impact on other people, and what your idea and how you see it from your angle is, people can see it from a totally different angle, and sometimes, it's 30 years since I wrote Morning Sun and Memories, and sometimes when I listen to it now, when I hear Mike Denver doing it or something, I can see a different angle on it, and I can see there's a sort of romantic thing and stuff like that. Wouldn't be a pile of romance in me, But it's, that's great, and, when it comes to talk about writing songs, I can hardly spell my own name. Like, I only went to school, the saying goes, I met the scholars, but to be a songwriter is great. It's sort of a gift afforded to me that I've grown to appreciate over the later years,
Indeed, it is an incredible talent to have, and I've spoken to many of the songwriters. One of them, great songwriters, P.J. Murray, who said,
yes,
when you write a song, he said, and he said, you let it fly. It can just end up anyway completely different to what you were in how you envisaged it when you'd finished it. He said he found it very interesting to see how other people did his songs.
That's right. I googled what Morning Sun and Memories one day, and I come on people in China doing a Chinese line dance to it. So and it's my good friend Patrick Kavanagh, who's such a great songwriter, has written the Old School Yard, and of course the anthem Home to Donegal, and so many great songs. Patrick says to me that our songs will go places that we'll never set foot on, and that's very true.
That indeed is very, very true. It's it is absolutely incredible, and it is incredible indeed that the different styles, different versions, and when the song comes to life with somebody else, it must be intriguing to see how it all goes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I remember when Billie Joe Spears died, I had been to see herself and Philomena at a concert, and then a while after Billie Joe died, and I wrote the tribute to Billie Joe, and which Philomena was delighted with, and it was actually played at Billy Joel's Memorial out in Texas. So stuff like that. It's very nice. It's nice that people take what you do and bring it on another step and take you serious. A lot of it's about confidence too, and you need to build up the confidence. I wouldn't have had a lot of confidence. I still don't have a lot, but sometimes when you look at all the people that have recorded your songs, you say to yourself, well, I must be able to do something,
Well, certainly. That's not in dispute in any way, shape or form. The interesting thing is I didn't actually know that you'd written that tribute song to Billy Joe. Just goes to
I wrote that just on the morning that I heard Billy Joe. I just heard on the radio that I wrote it as, if you ever listen to the song, it was in December, a cold morning, and I just heard that Billy Joe had died on the news in the morning, and I just sat down and wrote the song. It was a bit heartfelt, and I was a big fan of Billy Joe and of Philomena Beckley, and great people. So, I wrote a song called Blue Moon Over My World.
Yes.
That did very well for me, and I do send it all over the world to be played
yes.
at funerals and memorials and things like that. There, that people feel that it expresses what they want to say and their hour of need. And I sent it to America and England, and I remember Daniel recorded it, and he was doing a concert in the Sydney House. He had a big blue moon in the back of the stage, and somebody sent me a link on it and said they weren't a dry eye in the house, so I can certainly make people cry, whatever be making them laugh, But no, it's great. I've been playing music. I play the accordion, and I play button keys, and I play a bit on the piano accordion and a bit of piano, and music's been a big part of my life from a very early age, and it's very difficult at the minute for musicians. There's nothing for them. There's no work, and even though it's a special talent, it's just in a way, it's no more so than other people have talents, but it's tough. You spend so much time on the breadline really when it comes down to pursuing. People used to say to me, my uncle used to tell me, "Oh, music's easy carried," but it isn't. It's not. If you start sacrificing things to follow the musical career, as Jerry, you can come up short in a lot of areas in your life, but it is very fulfilling when things do go well.
Indeed.
It's a bit of a gamble.
Indeed. So now the musical talent continues in your son, who actually I received a single from, Matthew, who has written a special song for the times that we have in it.
It's called "What a Time to Be Alive." Yeah, Matthew's a great guy. He's my only son, and he did go to. He studied modern music, and he did his degree. He was in Leeds at the university up there and he's just started out on his career gigging and writing, and he's written some very nice songs to date, and he's trying to get his career off the ground. The song's called "What a Time to Be Alive." It's a pretty strong message in it, but I think you said you played it, and
yes.
The words are very true, and the truth doesn't always make things popular, but but it's definitely true,
Indeed so. Well, it's great to see. I mean, it's brilliant to see him, continuing on to write the music and play the music, in another generation. And great to see.
My father played in the band, and my brother played around London. Phil, I'm sure many people, like many of your listeners, would remember Phil. Way back, I think it was in the 70s. It was Phil and Syndicate. And, Phil was around London for years, many, many years, and he always played music around London. And my dad played in the band, and I've always played music, and now my son's playing music, and it's the weapon we have chosen.
Indeed.
But I do a bit of farming as well now, and that's where the money really is.
Right.
Yes.
And it's not often that farmers will actually ever say something like that. But fair play, Shunie, for.
Well, I kind of was joking, you know. There was a bit of sarcasm. I've got a small spot up here in Donegal, a few acres, and but it's great. Clears the head, and you get out, and you get up in the morning. There's always 1,000 jobs to do, and sure, it keeps me insane or sane, whatever, you know.
Whatever way it is. Well done. You're certainly not stuck on a farm for something to do in the strange times we have. That's for sure.
Yeah, certainly not. You know, and that's the greatest thing. I grew all my own vegetables and stuff like that. I keep bees. I've got beehives and stuff like that, and there's always, you know, I'm not stuck. There's always so much to do, and at the moment, I mean, the way that things are, it's scary times, you know. And I mean, I had a bit of a health scare myself a couple of years ago, but I'm fighting it now, and it's a really worrying time for people because with the COVID thing, sometimes you get that impression you're not being told everything because we don't know what way it's going to go. We really don't. You know, we're nearly as far back now as we were in March in relation to how things are going. All we can do is sort of keep our fingers crossed that they'll come up with a vaccination that, you know, might get us off the hook. You know, but it's a worrying time for a lot of people, you know, and of course the people who work so hard, like on the front line, to put their life on the line to save so many people, and so many people in some cases that they don't take it serious enough, I think, you know, but that's
Indeed.
It's very much an individual thing on the COVID thing, you know, and how you react towards it, you know, but it's a serious thing.
It is, yes. I mean, anything which can kill you is very, very serious, and no question. Shunie, listen, on that...
I mean, the scary thing about it is it can kill one person, do another person no harm, you know, and it's, you know...
Yes.
It's really scary.
It is.
But I would like to say a big hello to all your listeners, and I have many friends around London, and, you know, and hopefully your interview will fall on the ears of some of them. And I have a website. I think it's 5 original albums I have, and I know you haven't got my most recent album that was released last year. It's called A Songwriter and His Songs. And I had the pleasure of having a recorded by the great Ryan Turner here beside me. And I have some fabulous musicians playing on it. Actually, Max T. Barnes, the great songwriter from Nashville, played guitar on. Imagine having one of the most famous songwriters in the world playing guitar on your album, but it was just a great honour to have him. You know, he played with Tanya Tucker and he's a fabulous guitar player, so he played guitar on my whole album. And it was released last year. It's called The Songwriters and the Songs. And I have a new website there if anybody would want to check it out. You know, you can look at my CDs. It's www.shuniecrampsey.com. You know, if you want to go and have a look at them, you know. But I really appreciate you taking the time to call me, and because over here in Donegal at the minute, there's not a lot happening on the music front. You know, the last time that I played a note was we were over in the Halian Islands with Phil Mac way back in March with the Phil Mac shows, and we haven't played any music since. So it's very nice that you rang to sort of keep me in line. There's still hope out there, you know, for songwriters and for musicians.
Indeed. So, Shunie, listen, thanks a million, and listen, wishing you success and good health until we come out the other side of all of this.
Yeah, and I just like to mention that on the new album, there's a song on it called "Times Change, Nothing Lasts Forever," and it's about a lady with Alzheimer's. It's based on fact. Most of my songs are based on fact, you know, on the album. And if I send you on the album, maybe you get to listen to it, and it's a very true to life song. And I set it up here in Ireland for the Alzheimer's Society, you know, where you could donate. And the last time I looked, we had well over €1,000 raised for the Alzheimer's Society. So I'd like to just thank you, Jerry, once again for giving me a shout and giving me the opportunity to come on your show. And I wish you continued success with your show, and may you go from strength to strength.
Thank you very much indeed, Shunie. Appreciate it.